Sometimes in the world you offend people. You don't mean to, but you do. And when you do, it's important to acknowledge that and take ownership of it.
Is this offensive, Dan? Am I offending you with what I look like right now? Describe it to the people.
You're wearing boxer shorts. One of them is slightly higher legs than the other.
Does that offend you?
He was also wearing a shirt that said, "Go home immigrants."
It's my right to wear this shirt. They shouldn't be here.
Can you take off the Make America Great Again cap as well?
No, I believe in Donald Trump.
Get out. A few weeks ago, I tweeted about the way Rihanna sings in one of her songs, making it sound like she just gave up on enunciation completely, and I meant that lightheartedly, and I do actually love it, and it got favourited and retweeted a few times, and then some people started telling me she actually sings that way for a reason. Patois is a derivation of a standard language, and Jamaican patois in particular is a Creole that developed when West and Central African slaves were exposed to vernacular English and modified it to conform to their way of speaking, which is fascinating. I've got this written on my floor. I had no idea there was a name for it. I grew up in a very white area of England, so other people bringing it to my attention was brilliant. It meant that my knowledge of other people's cultures and the world just increased, and that's the way life should work. It's important to share knowledge because that's how people grow. Learning is vital. Albert Einstein once said, "When you stop learning, you start dying," which is dark. This new knowledge will inform the comedy I use going forward and will hopefully make me a better comedian. Don't. Further to this, back in the day I was part of a podcast with Jack and Dean, the Frattograts and Bound. We called it the Man Time Podcast because irony. Like Rain on Your Wedding Day. Bad example. I will link to those podcast episodes down there, but be warned, in the first episode I say the phrase, "Feminists piss me off." Yeah. Now, if you know me and my history, you'll know I am a fervent supporter of women, women's rights and equality for all. The last thing I am is a misogynist, but when I said that sentence, I meant it. Because I didn't know what feminism was. The feminism I'd been presented with was a group of angry women attempting to marginalise men who may or may not have been holding pitchforks and burning bras. This is incorrect. Feminism, as I now understand it, is about the promotion of women's rights and discussing issues that directly affect women in order to create a fairer and equal society for everyone, regardless of your gender identity. So imagine my surprise when I realised, shock horror, I've been a feminist all along. I'm not ashamed of that clip of me saying that is still online because first of all, it doesn't represent me as a person, and second of all, it acts as a reminder to me that you really need to be informed on issues, to open your ears and to learn about the world, and when you do learn, pass along that knowledge in a calm and helpful manner. I don't believe people as a rule are deliberately antagonistic. I think that when you write a joke, you have to be careful and consider whether or not your joke is going to contribute to a wider problem, but also remember that sometimes jokes are just jokes. When you hear one, it's important to consider whether or not that joke was laced with an attack or meant with a good-natured humour. Ignorance isn't great, but it isn't always an evil. Sometimes you just have to remember that we're all at different points on our cultural journeys and that learning is an open, ongoing process. Enlightenment is lovely, but what's the point if you don't pass it on?
Dan?
What?
I've heard what you've had to say, and therefore I've changed my opinions. Can you please describe to people what I've done in the time since you criticised what I was at the beginning of the video?
You've taken off your boxer shorts.
I have, and I've had a shower to wash away physically and metaphorically what was, and I've returned
wearing a towel and bearing this book. 2K16, peace out. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah. Wasn't that fun? We all enjoyed ourselves. Do it the other way.
You know what?